Hello, everyone. How are we all? If you can pop in the chat how you are all doing today. Thank you for coming to the live. All right, let's get it all sorted out on my end and then make sure definitely recording. I'm great. Thank you for asking. Yay, excited, awesome. Alrighty, now I know as always we are going to have a lot of people joining us on the replay, so if you are watching the replay, please comment below that you are watching and share with me something that you learned as well. But I'm so excited to have you all, and thank you again for those of you who are coming to the live with me this morning. I'm very excited. Alrighty, so I'm going to share my screen with you. I do have a presentation for this masterclass. I love my presentation, so how could I not? Alrighty. Share screen. Alrighty. I'm gonna open this one up. I'm going to get rid of that one. Okay, let's get into it. Alrighty, now welcome everyone to the Skyrocket Your Social Media Masterclass. I am super excited to have you all in today's masterclass. So basically what this masterclass is going to be about is strategies that you can put in place to be growing your social media for your personal training or coaching business. Now, we are going to be starting off with mindset to start off with, and then strategy. I love anything to do with strategy. I love a game plan. So that is definitely the main part that I am looking forward to sharing with you all today. However, we can't really get into strategy without talking about those potential mindset blocks that will be coming up. So I am so excited. I feel like it has been a long time coming, and I know that there are plenty of you who are super excited as well. So let's move ahead. So thank you all for joining with me with this masterclass. Now, as I mentioned, what we will be covering, there will be a giveaway, which I will be explaining in a second. We're going to be talking about money mindset, potential blocks that are limiting you, and then some strategies that you can implement for yourself straight away when it comes to just growing your Instagram and just your overall social media presence as is. So there will be a giveaway for this masterclass. Now, if you post that you're attending this webinar, you will receive 2 weeks of free messenger coaching with me through WhatsApp. So it will basically be back and forward together. So take a photo at any points that you attended this webinar, and then you will be in the chance to win this giveaway, and I'll announce it on the Facebook group and then message you directly as well. So that will be super exciting. And that will be, so the messenger coaching, that will be for business coaching, what you can do better for your social media, and then everything and anything between regarding PT mentoring. Alrighty, now first of all, a little bit about me. For those who do not know, I competed in my first bodybuilding show at 14. I've been in the fitness industry for a very long time as to what it feels like. I started working in the gym as a face-to-face personal trainer at 15. I worked there at any time for 4.5 years, and then I've been solely online for over 2 years now, since April 2021. It's gone very, very quick. So a little bit about me as well is that the main thing regarding my success is that I've done my time. I've had this very Instagram since 2000 and maybe 14. I have a lot of Instagram posts. I'm always showing up. And the main thing as well is that I'm just always showing up on social media, whether I've had a good day, whether I've had a quote unquote bad day, no matter what, I am putting myself online, and I've always done the jump before I felt quote unquote ready, So even when I went from a face-to-face personal trainer to online coach, there is no such thing as feeling ready. You never feel ready to start a business. You never feel ready to, hire your next employee or anything like that. However, the best things that you'll ever do in life when it comes to business is just taking that risk and taking that jump. Everything I've ever done when it comes to my own business success has come from taking a little bit of a risk before I ever felt ready to do, because you'll never ever feel ready. Feeling ready is such a myth. So always just make sure that, yes, of course you want to do your time, but also you want to do things before you feel ready. So even when it comes to your social media, if you don't feel quite ready yet, that is okay. Also, for those live, I really encourage you, jump in the chat, ask as many questions as you can. Even if you're watching the replay, ask as many questions as you can. I will get back to you all, but especially if you are on the live, I want you to really utilize that you are here and just make the most of it and ask questions, and I'll answer them at the end as well. Alrighty, now I want to teach you all to do the same in less the time. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about money mindset and limiting beliefs. Now, once again, I am the queen of strategy. I love a game plan. I love a practical plan. For me, mindset work is, I feel like I never want to say I'm actually past it, but in a way I am. I don't want to say simple stuff for me, but like, yes, it is. But we can never have too much of the basics, and I do think it's really important to be touching on this. I don't want to spend too much time here. Once again, I'm all about strategy and giving you all a practical game plan. However, we have to spend a little bit of time here, so bear with me if you know this stuff already. But once again, it is really important to touch on. Excuse, look at Dior. Dior, can you stop eating my plant? Dior. Okay, she just does what she wants. Anyway, lucky she's cute. All right, now money mindset and limiting beliefs. Now, what have you been told in the past and that you believe is true? Now, this is something I really want you to all take in consideration whenever these limiting beliefs that come up for you. So maybe you've been told in the past money doesn't grow on trees, or money is the root of all evil, or money makes people bad or greedy, or all of these kind of things. If you have these initial beliefs around money, you're going to have a very hard time building your business and being able to have a really clear energy and intention behind what you do. I get it. I used to have all of these kinds of beliefs when I was first getting started, and these were beliefs that I really had to challenge and break through. But I really, really believe that money will just accentuate the person that you are. So if you are already a really good person, you are going to do really great things with money. With me having more money now, I've been able to donate into so many more charities that I wouldn't even been able to have the option that I would before. I'm always offering to pay for people's lunches and foods whenever we go out. It really does allow you to become more of the person that you already are. So it doesn't change anyone. It just becomes more of the person that you are before as well. And if you are also having those limiting beliefs that money doesn't grow on trees, well, it's like money isn't going to come to you, because money is all it is energy. Okay, so it's an energy exchange. You exchange your service for energy, which is money. So it's like it's the whole thing about law of attraction. If you are scared of money and you don't like money, money isn't going to come to you. So it is important that you have some really positive beliefs around money. Otherwise, money is not going to want to come to you in the first place. You're going to have a really hard and icky time trying to attract your clients if you don't have a good money mindset. And as personal trainers and online coaches, we really do not get taught this thing, especially when it comes to building a business and marketing. It's like we do what we love and become PTs and coaches, and then we're just like, hang on, I have to learn this whole marketing thing, and I have to learn this whole business thing, and then now I have to challenge all these other limiting beliefs. We don't get taught these things, especially when it comes to Cert 3 and 4 in fitness. So it is important that you actually get told this kind of stuff, which is what I'm here for, because it's like we become a PT and then we also have to learn all of these other skill sets that we have never been taught in the first place, because school definitely does not teach us this kind of thing. So I really want you, especially over the next 24, 48 hours after this masterclass, have a think to yourself and just be super aware in terms of where those money beliefs do come up for you and where you can challenge them. And I want you to do some journaling about them. And if you do feel really comfortable sharing in the chat, or in the comment box below about, some money beliefs that you grew up with. Would love to hear them. And if there's any that you still need to challenge to this day. All right. Next. Alrighty. Now, setting expectation for where you are at in your business. So a lot of people will start their personal training or online coaching business, and they kind of just almost like have this expectation that it's going to just pick up out of nowhere. But setting that clear expectation, and yes, we do always want to aim high, but quite often it's almost going to be a slow burn. But I want you, when you are doing all of these things, like posting on your social media, like putting out these pieces of content that doesn't feel like you're making any progress, you have to think of it as every single time that you post on social media, you are one post away from your next dream client working with you. So even for myself, I still get inquiries and the person's like, I've been following you for 4 years and I would like to work with you. They didn't want to work with me 4 years ago because I wasn't as established as I was now. However, it's been 4 years in the making to try and get that client. And now, and then they work with me for however long, so it might not always feel like you've got 1,000 clients knocking on your door nowadays. Like, it's probably not. Quite often it's going to feel like crickets, but at the end of the day as well, we don't want to have this awful like expectation when it comes to our business. And I kind of like to think of this in like a relation standpoint. If you're just getting started in your business, and for example, if we're comparing this to a relationship, is if you're new, have this new relationship and you're putting all this expectation for it to work and for them to take you out, and like you're almost like putting so much pressure on it to like work, and you're constantly checking your messages or whatnot to see if they're messaging you back, that person is probably going to get a little turned off if you're holding so much of an expectation on it. So we want to be finding that healthy balance where we can still, of course, do live, but also enjoy our business and not have like this crazy level of expectation that is really draining because we're constantly checking our messages to see if anyone's messaged us or DM'd us, and we're holding tight to our phone type thing. So yes, we want to set, we absolutely do want to set high goals, but also we want to have a little bit of a lifestyle balance when it comes to our business as well. Hazel, get out. Can you get out, please? She's eating the plant still, having her best life, living her best life. And then as well, something I want to touch on is just know that you have something to bring to the table. It can feel like there are a lot of personal trainers in the space, especially when we are in this little fitness industry bubble, but in the grand scheme of things, there actually isn't a lot of PTs and online coaches. And with you, if you're still pretty new to starting up your coaching business, sometimes we can get this like a little bit of imposter syndrome, and that we feel like we're not good enough, or how are we ever going to possibly make a dent in this fitness industry? However, you absolutely do have something to bring to the table, and the fitness industry needs you. So don't give up on yourself, because I promise there are clients out there who need a personal trainer like you, who, there's no one who can explain flexible dieting or counting macros the way that you do. There is no one that can be there for a client in a way that I could be them for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is a personal trainer and a client for everyone. And I really do believe the whole like soulmate clients saying, like, all of my clients are absolutely soulmate clients and they are made perfectly for me. Not every single client will be the right perfect fit for one PT. Not every single client will be my personal like soulmate client, right? Just like there are some of those clients might be perfect for you. So we are all different and unique, and the fitness industry needs someone like you. So if you're ever having moments of doubt, just know that you very much so have as worthy of a spot as everyone else. And a saying that I do really like is that we always feel like they're, the fitness industry is saturated, or online coaching space is saturated, but I mean, so is hairdressing. There are 1,000 nurses out there as well, millions of nurses, but, we still need them, So there is a spot here for you, and I don't want you to ever feel like you can't have the success that you deserve, because you absolutely do. And there's so much opportunity out there for you. And as well, another piece of mindset that I would want to be talking about is how bad do you want it? Because business is very hard on those times. And one of my favorite sayings of all time is the wolf at the bottom of the hill is hungrier than the wolf at the top of the hill. And essentially what that means is there's always going to be someone who wants it who wants it more than that you do. So I love mindset. I love, motivation, discipline, all that kind of thing. So for me, I know how bad I want the success. I want the, business that I have, and I'll do anything that I can to always try and be at the very top. So that is what I also, we do want to have that balance. Yes, we do want to, have that, those rest days off from our business, whatnot. Great. Absolutely. We can have them. But also, if you're not truly giving your business what it deserves in terms of nurturing and doing the time, you might not be as successful as you want. And everyone has certain different levels in terms of what success means to you. So I think as well, they're also, no matter what, especially in that starting phase of your business, you need to get comfortable with the fact that there may be a lack of balance there, especially in that beginning phase. And we want to kind of judge or go into our business from a masculine standpoint. And it might take years of us being in our masculine to eventually get us to a point where we can be in our business and operate from a feminine standpoint, where we can eventually work on the business, not in the business. But you have to do your time. You have to keep working no matter what. Next. Alrighty, now confidence in your service. This is the next kind of mindset piece that I do want to talk about when it comes to being able to confidently show up on social media. So if you don't feel confident in your service, and if you don't have the trust in your service, how do you expect others? Because a lot of people can tell how you show up online and the energy that you put out. If you are not 1000% confident in your service and that you can get good results for your clients, how do you expect anyone else to feel confident in your service? And an analogy that I kind of like to compare to is plastic surgeons, for example. You are going to spend a lot more money, maybe 10x the price, if you're wanting to get plastic surgery by an amazing, maybe celebrity plastic surgeon. You're going to spend that a lot more money because you're going to be so much more, trusting in the service, and you're going to be so much more likely to get an outcome that you want. In comparison to if you are going to a plastic surgeon who's just come out of university or just coming out of school, and you're their very first patient. In fact, you might almost expect them to pay you at that point, because the outcome of likelihood of success isn't going to be as high in comparison to being someone's 1,000th or 100,000th patient, So you have to have confidence in your service, and it does just take time. However, if you're not feeling quite confident in your service, then I mean, by all means, you should absolutely be charging your worth. Yes, absolutely. And whilst I recommend ultimately don't do any kind of work for free, however, if you do need to do some free work, even if it is just for family and friends, then that can be a good thing if you're not feeling quite confident in your service yet. And as well, it was harder for me to sell $30 a week coaching back in the day when I charge $100 a week now, at the very minimum. And I can, whenever someone signs up to me, I don't even second guess it. I'm like, of course they would. That seems like an absolute steal of a price in comparison. So, it just does take time, but you do want to be confident in your service, and especially with the way that you're demonstrating that on social media. I know anyone who would come to me knows that I'm confident in what I do because I've just been doing it for time as well. Alrighty, now my favorite part, we're getting into some strategy now, which I hope that resonated with some of you just regarding those mindset pieces. I know I didn't talk about it for too much regarding the mindset side of things. However, we did need to talk about it, but I think definitely in the future we'll continue talking about it more and more. in different masterclasses, maybe even podcasts, that kind of thing. However, strategy, this is what this masterclass is all about. So I'm going to be explaining all of the strategies that I'm using for my social media. So also, the first thing as well I wanted to talk about, and this will really help with client retention, and I wanted to put this in here, even though this isn't direct strategy, because my God, this will turn people off, especially in the beginning. If you're DMing them back and forth, is, are you actually good with the behind the business side of things? And this is what I mean in the sense of that. So for example, if a client books in a call and then you reschedule it 3 times and then you're just kind of like mucking around, or you're not really getting back to them, or you take a week to respond after they inquire. If someone inquires with you and you're not doing what you can to get back to them ASAP, you are missing out on what could potentially be your dream client, because they're going to go to someone else. So for example, I find a lot of people in the beauty industry are not great when it comes to being in that, you know, in the business side of things. They might be amazing makeup artists, or they might be amazing lash techs, or amazing hairdressers, but the bookkeeping side of things, they are absolutely awful. So please do not be that awful, bad, you know, business person who just keeps changing and moving things around. I'm sure we've all had experience with that, when it's completely fine when people do it here and there, but I know I definitely see people in the beauty industry who are awful with this side of things, and it's very frustrating to deal with, especially as a business owner yourself who doesn't have a lot of time to deal with. And if someone's rescheduling you, okay, fine, if things happen. However, please just make sure that your bookkeeping is as good as it can possibly be. That was just a bit of a rant, because it always annoys me and I will know it will annoy other people. Alrighty, now commit to the shit post. Gone are the days of the perfect curated Instagram feeds. No one has ever hired me because I have an aesthetic Instagram feed. Seriously, none of you are listening to this masterclass today because I have a perfectly nice looking Instagram, or because I have a great physique. None of these things. No one is going to hire me for these things here. Okay, so we can get so caught up on like, what is the best Instagram post to have, or what is it that I need to, you know, do and say. However, my Instagram feed, I post whatever it is that I want whenever I want. I don't overthink my captions. I do not overthink my post that I put out. As soon as I have a post together, I post it straight away, whether I post once a day or 5 times a day. So we quite often, especially as coaches, we think, you know, we want to make these perfect, like Canva posts, or these, you know, perfect photo shoot photos, whatever, because of course we have these high standards of ourselves, especially as coaches as well, in the bodybuilding world particularly. However, I really, really challenge you for the next 30 days, and this is a goal that I want everyone to do. Set yourself a timeline of 30 days that you're going to post anything that comes to mind, whatever that is. So, and if you're in the beginning phase of like wanting to not really sure what to post, I do not care what you post for 30 days, getting in that habit of posting and not thinking about it. We can, once again, we spend this whole time trying to make sure that our Instagram is perfect and making sure that we're writing the perfect Instagram caption, when realistically no one really even reads captions nowadays. You know, people have way too short of an attention span to even read our captions. So don't spend that long on it. It's like the whole you know, spotlight effect, where we think everyone is looking at us and what we're doing. No one really thinks that at all about us. Everyone is too busy thinking you're looking at their stuff. So don't overthink it. Just post it 30 days straight. I want you to all to write this down. 30 days straight, do nothing but post at least once per day. Doesn't even necessarily have to be fitness related. Once you break the habit, of course, then we can clean it up and post some things that are actually going to give value. However, for now, we need to make sure that we are getting you in the habit of posting, because if you're not doing the very minimum of like posting even just once per day, then you're not going to get very far, and people aren't even going to know you. You can be the best coach in the world, but if you're not putting yourself out there on social media constantly in every way, shape, or form, you're not going to be getting as many eyes on you as possible. And that is always the goal, is we want as many eyes on us as we can possibly have. So, you know, and I really challenge you, if you're doing this already, maybe there's another social media platform that you can be utilizing. Maybe it is, if you're already good on Instagram, maybe go check out TikTok, maybe go on YouTube. And even if you're not up to, you know, doing YouTube videos, maybe go do YouTube shorts, maybe try the new threads, maybe get on Twitter. You can repurpose content so many times. And the lifespan as to what an Instagram post will be, it's only like 48 hours, maybe 2 weeks if it's a reel. So your post isn't going to show up on people's Instagram feeds for very long, unless someone's actually scrolling down your Instagram. So also, don't be shy to repurpose your old content. No one's even going to know. No one's going to think twice, particularly for those testimonial before and after type photos. Like, share those again, because chances are most people didn't even see it, and only 2% of people are even going to view your stuff anyway out of all of your followers. So reshare it. No one's going to know. And chances are Instagram didn't even push it well in the first place anyway. So just repost it, especially if you know it's like a good client testimonial. So commit to the shit post. Start off with Instagram. And then if you're already doing that, great. I challenge you to do something else in terms of another social media. The goal is eventually, we want to be looking at every single social media platform. And we want to max out the amount of posts that we can do per day. So that is the goal in terms of what we are wanting to do. And then this goes back to not worrying about it necessarily being perfect. So worry less about the logo and the branding colors of your Instagram. We don't want to make it perfect. Just put yourself out there. These things will happen over time. You'll eventually have logos. You'll eventually have perfect color branding. I do not have color branding or anything for, you know, my brand. I have not needed it to create the success, to have a wait list to where I am today. You know, you just don't need it. These things can come with time. But even so, you might create a name for your business, and then you might change it a few years in. Even you can look at someone who's highly successful, like Rachel Gillen, for example, who had Bodies by Rachel for however many years. And then even after having, you know, so much success with it, she still went and re-changed it to Move With Us. So it is, the great thing about your business is that you can change all the time. My biggest recommendation is to try out many things. The more that you can try out, the better. That way you get to know you and what you like. Even when it comes to, if you are posting on YouTube and you're not really too sure about what kind of niche videos that you want to be posting per se, post them all, see what gets the most views, see what you like doing the most, and then you have your answer. You will never know if you don't stick to it, or if you don't try out certain branding or different logos. Once again, no one really cares that much. So try out what you like, and then you can eventually stick to it. But once again, we don't want to get too caught up in things being overcomplicated either when it comes to our Instagram. So just put yourself out there. Don't overcomplicate your captions either. It does not need to be an essay. We don't need to write a thesis in terms of our Instagram carousel either. No one thinks of it that deep. And quite often, especially as people pleasers, especially when we are in the spotlight as well, we can want to write this is something that I always had to kind of get through, is that I can see things from so many different angles, you know, from a point of view. However, if we spend so much time writing from different points of view, it's like what we're trying to say is going to get blurred. So don't be shy if what your Instagram post is saying is kind of contradicting. So for example, I made an Instagram post saying, a carousel saying why your second time competing is easier than the first. But then in the caption, I actually said, well, actually for me, competing has been harder every single prep I've done. And this is why. And I could also create a whole nother carousel as to why competing the second time can be harder than the first as well. So it doesn't necessarily matter if your Instagram captions or anything are contradicting, because I think it's good because you can see all those different points of view. However, don't overcomplicate it in the sense of, actually, but we can look at it from this way and this way and this way, because there's always going to be 100 different ways that we can look at it. But if you say in your caption, more on this coming soon, or like, but, you know, if we look at it from this kind of light, you can say a quick spoiler if you want to when it comes to contradicting, you know, your posts and whatnot. If there's another way of looking at things, like another way, for example, is, that you can look at things, for example, that I was talking about even last night on my Instagram story that I just put up, was just flexible dieting, and it can be as simple as energy in, energy out, but it can actually be a lot more complicated than that as well. So we can also take that argument as that it's not just as simple as calories. Yes, absolutely. But once again, you can be contradicting. That's another conversation for another day. So don't ever complicate yourself. It doesn't always need to be absolutely perfect from every single set of eyes that you look at. So something else that is really helpful when it comes to social media is just having a backlog of photos ready to post and utilizing your notes for those days when you lack creativity. So take a whole bunch of photos whenever opportunity that you have. Just have a whole bunch of photos in your camera roll, have them in your favorites list, just so you always have photos ready to post that way. And then you can also pair it with a caption that you have written on some other day that you were more creative. So always utilize your notes whenever you have a good thought or a good caption idea, write it in your notes. And then one day when you're not really feeling too inspired in regards to what to post, you can pair it with one of those photos, you can put that caption in, you can post it, and you don't have to think about it. It's up there. Easy. Okay, so when it comes, if you find that you really lack creativity when it comes to sharing yourself on social media and like certain post ideas as well, I really encourage having an area that you find it best to get into your creativity. And quite often it's not going to come when we are sitting at our desk either. We are not in our creative state when we are sitting at our desk. So go outside, go for a walk, go on your couch, or whatever it is that you always find that you are most creative. Maybe it's your shower, maybe it's a bath. Have your notes nearby. For me, whenever I go on a walk, I'm just an idea machine. I have my notes. I write, 5 different notes every single time I'm going for a walk outside, or even my balcony. So have something that's not your desk, that's not your workspace, because chances are you're probably not very creative at your desk when you're in work mode. So find that thing that is your creative space. So if you're ever having like a little bit of a content fog day, you can go for a little bit of a walk outside, and then all of a sudden you have an idea. Once again, you can repurpose your old content as well. Another way of repurposing your content that is really helpful as well. So this kind of goes along in terms of what I was saying before, in terms of putting your content, but not just putting it on one social media platform. You want to do it on every social media platform as possible. As I said, we want as many eyes as we can possibly have on ourselves. So for me, for example, I'm trying to be on everything, absolutely everything I can. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Threads now, I'm on podcasts, I'm on YouTube, I'm on, what else is there? Facebook. So I want you to ask yourself, if you have the opportunity to write this down at the moment, please do so. I want you to write down the social media channels that you're on at the moment, that you're frequently posting. And then I want you to write down what social media channel that you want to get onto. So maybe you're just on Instagram and TikTok at the moment. So maybe you actually do want to get on Facebook. Write that down. It can just be one that I want you to have a play around with today and get on. So even an example for me, I used to think just Instagram was enough. And it was absolutely, just me posting on Instagram alone was well and truly enough to hire another coach and to have a wait list. Great. But there's always more we can be doing. And we never want to stop posting and trying to get as many eyes as we can. And the best piece of advice that I could ever give you as a personal trainer or online coach is to post and show up on social media as if you are broke and as if you have no clients. If all of a sudden all of your clients left you tomorrow, or social media, I don't know, your Instagram went down, what else can you be doing? You want to have as many platforms as possible, so that's never going to be an issue, especially when it comes to those quiet times like Christmas or maybe even winter for PTs. We want to make sure that we have a lot of eyes on us, so even on those quiet times we're still well and truly afloat. So write down that social media that you want to be utilizing, and I want you to really have a go at that for me over the next 24 hours, or even after you jump off this masterclass, is to get on there. So as I was saying, I was just on Instagram for a good period of time, and that was well and truly enough to create success. However, even just doing the simple thing of because I used to turn off my Instagram, when you can post on your Instagram stories and Instagram posts, and you can also post it to your Facebook, like even if it's just your private Facebook group. So I used to even just turn that off, because I was like, you know what, Facebook is just for, my personal kind of friends, my family. Like, I really don't use Facebook, and I feel like our kind of generation isn't really on Facebook as much nowadays. However, just kind of saying, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to get on there. I turned on the feature where you can start posting on Facebook as well, and I turned that on, and absolute game changer for me. I had so many, even just old clients that was on there, that I like forgot that I even like had worked with in the past, reach out again, who was yes, like previous clients, but also like a little bit older, who's not really even on Instagram. So a lot of family members, and just so many more people engaging with my stuff. So I know it can almost sound so simple and such a small thing that we can be doing, like turning on and putting all of our Instagram posts into our Facebook, even if it is just personal, and can kind of feel almost pointless, especially if it's just like family, friends. However, get on there, because it's a whole nother world of people. And I don't know about you all, but I know I have like 1,000 friends on Facebook that, maybe I don't really know, or maybe I went to school with or whatnot. However, that's another 1,000 people that you're actively showing up with, because even though it might not be a direct like a sale per se, even though I don't like using the word sale, but that's fine. Once again, we want to be thinking every single social media post is one step closer to getting your next client. Or, as I said as well, the amount of people that reach out to me now and say, hey, Jazz, I've been following you for the past 4 years. I would love to work with you. Because what happens as you're posting and you're showing up, even if they're not interested in coaching with you right now, when it comes a time that they are wanting a personal trainer, you are the very first person and only person that comes to mind when it comes to them hiring a coach. And that is when they're going to work with you. So yes, it might seem like a slow burn at the beginning for sure, but it very much so does pay off, especially just as you continue doing it. Like, consistency is just absolutely everything. And the thing is as well is that you actually don't need to be original. Quite often we think that we need to come up with all of these new ideas and these great real ideas. But even, for example, this whole trend that was going on a little while ago, it was that girl morning routine. And as I scroll down, there's a million other videos exactly like this that look the exact same, that have the same font, same kind of photos. There's a million of them. I'm sure we've all kind of watched a few of them. They're all over TikTok, IG Reels, all of them. So you don't need to be original. Like, all of these videos have rated so well. And I have no doubt I could even create a podcast episode or an Instagram, TikTok reel, whatever it is, and I would guarantee it does still pretty well. So you actually don't need to be original. Like, yes, if you can catch trends, that is really, really powerful. However, it's just, you don't need to be creating the next best thing. Like, quite often, if you just keep doing what you're doing and then catch those trends, do what other people are doing that's working, like, that is very much going to be enough. Okay, so the thing is as well, when we're doing those posts that aren't necessarily original and that may be a trend, is that we're always going to have our own personal flair to it. So it's going to be able to share your personality with your audience. And as well, when you are posting on your Instagram, you almost want to use it as like a little bit of a diary. And this is one thing that can honestly just take time and for it to feel quite normal. For me, it feels weird if this kind of sounds sad, but it's not. It feels weird if I, don't take a photo of the meal before I'm about to eat it, or if I'm going for a walk out. Like, for me, it's just so part of and ingrained in my natural life to be able to post it on social media. And when it comes to things like service-based business and coaches and personal trainers, that kind of thing, whether we like it or not, people are working with us because they like who we are as a person. Okay, so whether we like it or not, it is very much a personal brand, even though down the track, eventually we can get it to a point as we continue growing it, where it is to a point where it is just the business and we step out of it. So it's more of like a team and like a company entity, and our face isn't associated. Absolutely. Like, that is the point, that is the goal that we want to be. But for the most part, and it may be for the first 5-10 years in business, maybe even longer, depending where you are at, quite often it's going to be your face as part of the brand. And people aren't going to work, especially nowadays, people aren't going to work with you if they don't know who you are. So show up on your social media. People want to work with you because of you and your personality, because of your interests. So even with you sharing certain things like your hobbies outside of fitness, I really do encourage you doing that, because people are going to love you even more for that. So whether it is even for like your dog, or like what you're getting up to on the weekend, if you're going to the movies, I never want you to feel like this isn't contributing to your business growth, because it absolutely is. People love to feel relatable, or like they relate to the person that they, kind of idolize or look up to, and that you do have a life outside of your fitness. It is going to be one of the best things that you can do, is still show up your personal life with your audience and who you are as a personality. Show who you are. People don't want to work with a no-name kind of person nowadays, especially in the social media generation. Like even for myself, I would not work with anyone, whether it's an accountant, a business coach, or a personal trainer, if I didn't know who they are, their personality, and honestly, like their daily routine. So you do want to get in the habit of sharing your daily routine, and it doesn't have to be anything creative. It doesn't have to be anything insane. Quite often we can think even, oh, but I don't get up to anything crazy, or my life isn't exciting. Okay, yeah, same. All I do is go to the gym in the morning and then sit at my computer and then go for a walk each day. It's my life isn't exciting either per se, although I love it. But I can still find things that I want to post about. So even if you're going to go do client check-ins and then you go take a photo of on your phone saying, training programs, like that is still you showing off your everyday life. Or if you're having a meal, which obviously we're all going to be eating healthy, or going in for a walk, like it's indirectly still helping your business. So I don't want you to skip this part, because it is such a big thing when it comes to growing your social media, and that personal brand nowadays is just one of the ultimate things. And people don't really want to buy from huge businesses anymore the way that they used to. That's why influencer marketing and like influencers who do businesses, who have their own businesses, are doing so well. Like for example, even The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, for example, he has his own tequila and I believe energy drink business as well, which is now up there, but it's nothing crazy. Like it's still just an energy drink, it's still just tequila, however it's got his name attached to it. So personal brand is everything, and people are always going to buy like that over just something that's kind of always been out that doesn't really have a name attached to it. Alrighty, so one other thing as well is be clear on your messagings. So if I had a look at your social media right now, would I even know that you're a coach? Okay, so is it in your bio? Is it in the first 12 Instagram photos that you share? If not, then you're going to want to redo your social media, because ultimately, like, you want your Instagram to be straight to the point. And once again, if you do want help with this, click me a message and I can absolutely help you. But you want your profile photo, you want your Instagram caption, it can be simple, straight to the point. Honestly, the less words, the better, that you can get your message across. And the same with all of your posts. If your Instagram has really nothing to do with the fact that you're an online coach in the first 12 photos that I can see, then you're going to want to have a rethink about that. So just make sure that your messaging is clear about what it is exactly that you do. And even with your Instagram stories, yes, you can show your personal life, 100%. We know that is important. However, if someone's randomly come across your Instagram story and they have a look at all your stories in the past 24 hours, do they know exactly what it is that you do in the industry that you're working in? If not, have a look at that. And that is something I want you to fine tune. Alrighty, now don't be afraid to sell. And this is such a big slide that I want to touch on. Offering value. So service-based businesses are built off trust. So you want to give your audience as much value as possible every day and ask yourself, how can I get in front of more people? So we can often hear the word sell and we think, oh, like we kind of think of all these like icky feelings of having to sell and whatnot. However, for me, I built up my business for the first probably 4 or 5 years of my business, not directly doing single thing of like selling per se. Not ever once did I constantly put in like do a launch for something, or put necessarily like my prices on Instagram. Yes, I do a lot more of that nowadays. However, what I did to build up my business, and it's what is one of the best strategies that you can do, you're going to want to listen up, is giving value as much as possible when it comes to your audience. Give as much value, any opportunity that you can. So even right now, if I were to go randomly look at your Instagram stories, is there some kind of value that I can get from your stories right now? And this isn't to say you need to burn yourself out and have something every single day, but ultimately, like, also, yes, you do want to kind of have, it can just be a small sprinkle of something, for example. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You do not have to overthink it. So instead of like selling, the best thing that you can kind of reframe it is to give value. How can I give value? But also, we don't want to be afraid to sell either, because Gucci doesn't have they don't just open their doors one day and think, actually, I don't feel like selling, or like I don't feel like running ads. No, they just do it because they are a business, just like you are a business, and also start treating yourself like it. So if you are having any kind of limiting beliefs that come up with selling, I would really encourage you to challenge that and think, why do I feel like this? And quite often we can have negative experiences in the past with certain other businesses that we kind of get like a bit of a negative connotation when it comes to selling, or fear-based marketing. That's something I've chatted a lot about in the past, and how we don't like to use like bro marketing or fear-based marketing because it doesn't work in the long term, and it doesn't attract customers that you actually will enjoy working with. So we don't want to do any of those like icky sales tactics per se at all, because that is not going to attract any good clients. Trust me. We want to just literally show up on our social media every single day, offering value as much as possible. So ask yourself, and whether you're doing this on one social media channel or as many social media channels as much as possible, is how can I show value in this right now? So for example, even on my story, and once again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel at all. Even to this day, even last night, my Instagram story was literally talking about calories and macros. I can't tell you the amount of times I've chatted about calories and macros, and people will still say, wow, Jazz, this is so valuable. When I'm like, seriously, like, is this the level we're at? You know what I mean? So, and quite often as PTs and coaches, especially the more advanced that we've become, we forget how much people don't know. So don't be afraid to like dumb things down, and you don't have to even necessarily know it all or anything like that. Like, really, you don't want to, or you don't have to reinvent the wheel at all. And even to this day, I'm still saying the very basic things that I feel like I've mentioned a million times. However, there are always people listening. There are always people that are gaining value from it. And it's like, once again, we can forget those things. But even as well, you might feel like you've said something a million times. However, someone's might actually heard you and be really in tune with what you're saying. However, it might take the 20th time for you to say something for that to land with them. So don't be afraid to say it again and again, because repetition is king, especially when it comes to your audience actually learning it. Because remember, things like macros and flexible dieting, as PTs and coaches, this is such simple stuff to us. Progressive overload, this is stuff that we don't even need to think about, that we can explain in our sleep. So we can forget how like hard and complex it is to someone who's never even heard of it. And the fact that you don't need to do keto to, lose weight, right? So say it again on your stories. Something that I did during COVID lockdowns, when I was still a face-to-face PT and I still had some online clients, so that was fine. But I was like, you know what? I really want to get up my online business. I want to keep building. So what I would do is every single day on my Instagram story, I made it a thing for me to speak on my stories every single day. And you can still go back and look at my Instagram highlights. If you go do the big scroll back through my highlights, you'll be able to have a look. Feel free to go steal any kind of information or ideas from it. But every single day I'd be talking about a different topic. And it would be topics, like macros, like the importance of getting enough sleep, what to do if you're binge eating, progressive overload, how to train from home, because that's a big thing, being COVID. So all these different topics, and you can go have a scroll back I cringe looking back at them now, but I would do that. And honestly, even just that was one of the best things I ever did for my business, because it really just shows how much knowledge that you know. Because once again, if you're not putting yourself out there, how are people even going to know that you're not knowledgeable, that you are knowledgeable? Even for me right now, every single day on my TikTok, or I have a look, I am posting one random piece of knowledge and facts. So I literally don't overthink it. And I have my calendar in terms of just all the things that I want to do for that day, whether it's like a client program or anything like that, that I want to do. And every single day I have on there is to do a TikTok. So I literally I don't overthink it. My whole process for this, I open the TikTok app, and then I go into the camera, and then I just think of the first thing that comes to my head. I literally just like wing it. It's probably a 30 to 60-second video. I post it. Some of them do really, really well. Some of them get thousands of views. Some of them only a few hundred. However, the more chances that you have of showing up, it's just that prime example, the more, eyes that you're going to see. And if you want, you can use that exact video, put it on IG Reel, put it on YouTube Shorts. However, be careful. I know Instagram or YouTube doesn't necessarily want to promote things with a TikTok logo. However, if you can recreate that video, even just in your camera roll, and then upload it so you have it without the logo, you can repurpose that so many ways. You can also make it an Instagram thread. You can make it an email marketing. You can make it a blog, but also no one really reads blogs nowadays. So you can make it an Instagram carousel. So you can repurpose ways in so many different ways. And remember, people will like different styles of content. Some people will love podcasts. Some people love YouTube. Some people don't like any kind of videos at all. Some people like Instagram carousels, and that's how they can retain and gain information. So the more ways that, even if it's the same thing that you're saying, say it in all different ways as much as possible. So that is what I do with TikTok. Every single day I will post a video like that, and that's exactly the same, strategy, I guess, that I did back in the day with Instagram stories. And if I ever have an opportunity that I can post nowadays, I absolutely still will. So it can be simple. Post yourself on as many platforms as possible. And even if it is as simple as just doing a talking video on Instagram, always put the captions on as well, as most people don't have their sound on. A lot of people are just scrolling on their lunch break at work. So always have the captions on, whether it's TikTok, Instagram. I do recommend doing that. And then also when you are talking, I do recommend talking as if you're speaking to one person. So hello, how are you today? Not, hey guys, how is everyone? That kind of thing. So, because when people are viewing your Instagram stories, even though you're technically talking to an audience, it feels like you're talking to one person when someone's watching you. Like they're just watching you. It feels like a very solo experience if the audience is watching you per se. So if you are talking on Instagram stories, or when you're talking on text or whatever, if you can try and say you as if you're talking to one person, it takes a little bit to get in that habit. However, it will make the customer feel like you're actually talking to them and not just like, hey, everyone type thing, and like, oh, this doesn't apply to me. All right, I'm going to grab a sip of water. What is the time? My gosh, time goes so quick whenever I do masterclasses. It's 9:53 already. Feel like we haven't even scratched the surface yet, but that's okay. I'll try and get this done as soon as possible, so you're free to go very soon. Promise we're nearly done. Alrighty, so how many times should I be posting? As much as you possibly can. That is the simple answer. I used to think, and once again, I had great success with this for a long period of time, of just posting like once a day, even just 5 times a week, kind of Monday to Friday. Yes, that works for a good period of time. However, if you're ready to take that next level, for me now, I'm really trying to post like as much as I can. Sometimes if that means 4 times a day on my Instagram feed post. So for me, 2 to 3 times is generally pretty good per day. But I just think as well, don't necessarily put a certain rule on it. You want to do something that you can stick to. But for me, as soon as I have an idea, I'll try and put it up there. And I believe the actual like maximum that Instagram will kind of stop pushing a post is like 5. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend going above 5, but I'll be very impressed if you could even get there. But once again, it's great if you do, because then you can just have content days for the next few days. But I really just challenge you to actually like think to yourself, how many times can I actually be posting? Because I remember when I went from posting like once a day, if that, so like 5 times a week, to eventually posting 2 to 3 times a day. And just the fact that I was like, actually gave myself permission to do that. And I was like, hang on, like, why didn't I do this ages ago? And I thought I was doing the most that I could when I was posting, once per day. So I think you'll really surprise yourself in how much like more that you can actually do when it comes to posting. Even if we're just looking at Instagram alone per se, is the amount of things that we can utilize just from Instagram. So now there's like the broadcast section. There's of course the IG reels. There's the you can do even close friends with like a certain group of people, for example, or like there's just so many different things that you can do within just Instagram alone when it comes to feed posts, carousels, Instagram stories. Utilize them all as much as you possibly can, and just write down like what's one extra thing that you can be doing that I've mentioned that you're not currently doing. So like I said, yes, being on another social media platform, but also, even if it's just within Instagram itself, if you're currently doing a lot of Instagram feed posts, maybe you can do some more reels, because Instagram is pushing reels at the moment, and they have been for quite a while. Short form content is really, really powerful. If you are all on YouTube, or if any of you are on YouTube, huge props to you, because YouTube is very time consuming. However, once again, the more channels that you can be on, the better. So if we're really talking about like content machine, and this is how a lot of like the big names go about it, is of course they'll be on everything, right? So long form content is where they'll start off with. So they'll make it a long YouTube video, even if it's say 20 minutes. They'll post that audio to podcast. They'll have the YouTube video. They'll cut it into small clips. They'll make that an Instagram reel. They'll make that a TikTok. They'll make that a YouTube short. And they'll be able to get, 10 different reels from even just one long form video content or format, and then they'll be able to post it out. So this is what all the big creators are doing. And then they're also making that a Twitter thread out of that. So, now an Instagram thread. So, and of course they all have big teams, but we can also do that on like a smaller concept, add features and coaches to our limit, to our limit. So find two, even 3 pieces of social media that you really enjoy, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and just try and repurpose your content as much as possible across all of those without getting burnt out. Make sure that you have some days off as well. So there are 3 kinds of posts that you want to be making when it comes to posting. To say, if we're talking about Instagram, this can apply to any social media channel. So one post that gives your audience value. Remember, value is king. That is going to be selling indirectly and mark you as that authority. So we want to have one piece of content that gives your audience value. We want one piece of content that gives your audience, that allows your audience to be able to get to know you. So a personal piece of content. So for example, maybe you're posting, I don't know, some hobbies or something that you're doing outside of the gym. So I don't know, maybe you guys play basketball or something in your time. Great, share that. So a personal piece of content, and then one that has the opportunity to go viral. So this might be one of those trends, so the viral TikTok sound, whatever it is. We want to have all of those 3 posts pretty much consistently. Once again, we don't want to overthink this, but I want you to keep this in mind, and maybe even just take a photo of this as well, so yeah, you remember it. But I think if you're doing this rule of thumb and you're using this as like a good kind of outline when it comes to your social media, you're going to be covering like every aspect that people kind of need to know in order to be able to want to work with you. And however, as well, with that being said, going viral isn't necessarily the goal. Followers do not equal customers. I know so many people, and I've worked with regarding my PC mentoring, is they will have a lot of followers but no clients. So your followers don't always convert the way that you think it is. And a lot of times we think, oh, if I just had more followers, I would be more successful. No, not the case. Like, I also work with some very, very successful PTs who only have a couple hundred followers on their Instagram, and they're doing better than those who have 100K followers. So yes, going viral can help, and it is good, like kind of social proof, to have some more followers for sure initially. However, it doesn't always equal more customers, and a lot of time people are just going to be there for a laugh and then they're going to leave. So it can help for sure. You might end up getting a few customers in the long term out of it if they stay following you and they stay engaged. However, it's not necessarily the goal. It does help. We do want to be putting those content pieces out there so people can find us in the beginning. However, going viral and having followers alone, we can often think that that is such a big thing in terms of like why we're not successful, or if I just had more followers. For me, even for example, like my followers, I would say yes, I have a great amount for sure, but I mean, in regards to like how much success that I have had out of my Instagram followers, like I would say the success I've had in comparison to my followers has been way greater than just what my followers say. Does that make sense? Like I know how much more business that I do get and clients that I've worked with in comparison to these other big name people, or big names in the industry. Like you don't need more followers, I promise. And even my followers hasn't necessarily changed a whole great deal over the years. For sure, it's a slow growth, absolutely. But people unfollow, people will follow, but like you'll find your customers will find you if you're doing all of these right things, regardless as to how many followers that you have, for example. So don't overthink it. Even the amount of people I follow on my Jasmine Templin Fitness Instagram, I follow a lot of people. I just like to, follow everyone back. I think that is great as well. But once again, I don't think it too seriously. I feel like I don't really know if anyone still does this, but I know like this. I feel like I kind of used to think this way back in the day is, oh, I can't follow that many people because it will show I'm not like an authority or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure you all kind of know what I'm talking about, but now I just like don't really care. I just try and follow as many people as I can, like whatever. I don't overthink it. Like if it's not making me like money or like helping a client directly, like I really don't need to spend any more time thinking about it. Alrighty, now consistency is king. I can't stress this enough. You want to be posting every day. And going back to the saying as well as, who am I going to sign up with? The person who's posting only once per week on the Instagram, or the person posting multiple times per day? So if someone's looking at hiring a personal trainer and they're like, negative Nancy over here, maybe not negative, but they're like kind of like not really into it as much, or only like posting once even per day or one per week, and they're just like not really showing up, and they're not really over live or active on the Instagram stories. And then you've got someone who is super active over here, and they're just posting every single day. They're showing that they're passionate, they're working with clients, whether it's in the gym or they're sharing their client results, they're on their laptop, they're working, they're hustling away. Like who are you going to sign up with? You're going to sign up with the person who is really happy to be there and working every single day, because they're amongst it, they're in with it, they're up to date. Like 100% you're going to sign up with that person. Same as me. If I'm working with anyone, whether it is a business coach, whether it is a podcast manager, whoever, I'm not going to sign up with someone who isn't on their social media active. Like it's just the way we think nowadays with the world of social media, and us young people as well. It's like, we're not going to work with someone who isn't active on social media. I'm sorry, like that is honestly just the way that it is nowadays. So post multiple times per day. And also, with that being said, you want to be finding balance with posting so it is enjoyable, and I meant to write sustainable there, excuse my typo error. So we want it to be sustainable for us, because as I always like to say, long-term consistency will always beat short-term intensity. You don't just want to be here for a minute, and I see a lot of people in this industry come and go, so please don't be one of those people. Don't just come and go when it comes to this industry. Like, you want to make sure that you are here to stay. So yes, you want to show up on your social media as much as you can, but don't let yourself get burnt out and then you just go completely off the grid. The amount of coaches and that's why as well, you can't get too caught up on what other people are doing, or if they seem to be doing better and they've only been here for a minute. I guarantee you they're probably going to be out of the fitness industry quicker than you can even say fitness industry. Do you know what I mean? So like, I've seen a million people come and go, whether it's competitors, people who do really well in the industry and you think they're going to do really well long term and they have great potential, but then all of a sudden they just like literally fall off on the grid of the earth. So make it sustainable, because you don't just want to be another one of those people who just like leave the industry altogether and like end up becoming like, I don't know, a builder. I don't know, nothing wrong with builders, but you know what I mean? Like just out of the industry, like completely like get it, like fall off your passion, because we all love it. We're all in this place because we genuinely love what we do. So you want to make sure that it is sustainable, and also celebrate the wins along the way. Quite often we can once again compare ourselves to other people who are having great success, that we forget to even celebrate the small wins. Like, oh, we had a client inquiry. Celebrate that. That is amazing. And is it on the next slide? Yes, I knew I was going to say that. So following up is, don't get too caught on the numbers. Celebrate your wins, celebrate if you have inquiries, whatnot, but also don't be necessarily stressing if you're looking at the analytics every single day on your Instagram. As well, like, as you know, if you look at a clock, it's going to feel like it's going a lot slower if you're just looking at the time go by. So don't worry about the analytics. Enjoy your business, enjoy the fun, enjoy the perks it has with it, enjoy weekends off, like have boundaries with your clients as well, and your work time. Trust me, you need it, especially if you want to be the best coach that you can be for your clients. It is in your duty as a coach to make sure you are having time switching off as well, so you can really switch on when it comes to your clients. So make sure that you are giving your best when it comes to being able to switch off as well. So when you are switching on, you're able to really enjoy it. If I showed up to this masterclass today and I wasn't really well recharged, let's just say, I don't know, if I went out last night and had a big night, and then maybe I don't know, skipped the gym this morning, right? I would not be showing up to this 100%. However, because I had boundaries and I switch off at night, and then I, do my me thing, I go to the gym in the morning, I'm not waking up to Instagram DM inquiries straight up. Like, I have my routine, I have my boundaries. Once again, this can happen with time of establishing that. However, make sure you have some off time. Don't get too caught up on the numbers. Enjoy the wins, and because wins will come and go as well. But you just want to overall enjoy the journey. It's going to make it so much more enjoyable and sustainable long term, and that's what's going to keep you winning in the game longer than anyone else. Because what is also going to get you to success is also just a matter of time. Like, you can be doing all of these right things. As I mentioned today, you can be doing all of the right strategies. And once again, there is even more that I could continue talking about. However, if you are not, just overall enjoying the process, enjoying what you're doing, it's like you're not going to be in the game for long enough to even get that long-term success. Like, quite often having that success and hitting even like say 7 figures a year is going to come from doing all of these basic things and just doing them for a long period of time. Like, that is all that's doing. And I won't spend too much more time on the slide. We're nearly done, promise. But once again, we want to kind of think about it as a pyramid. We want to be basically doing all of these things, and eventually, as we grow, we want to expand that pyramid and make it longer, wider, as it suits our business. Anyway, more on that. That could be another masterclass. Alrighty, now your homework is commit to the shit post whatever comes to mind within the next 24 hours or even 30 days. So if you can write this down as well, is shit post 30 days straight. It doesn't even necessarily need to be direct fitness content. If you are struggling posting on your Instagram as is right now for 30 days straight, make it a challenge for yourself, and please send me a DM as to how you're going as well. I would really love to see it. I love seeing all of this. Just commit to the shit post one Instagram feed post per day at a minimum. If you're at that level, and it can be whatever. I just want you to get in the habit of posting and not overthinking about making it the perfect curated Instagram post or thesis that you're trying to put up. Just post it. Don't overcomplicate it. Get through that part, and you'll be able to focus on so many other levels of your social media as well. Note any mindset blocks that come up for you. So whether it is any of those money or those limiting beliefs as we chatted about at the start of the webinar, and then give one piece of value content to your followers. So get used to giving value to your followers. You do not have to directly sell on your Instagram to get your clients, to be able to get your, a full-time income from your social media. So show value and just get creative in terms of how you can do it. Okay, so that is your homework. Now, also, I'm going to spend 30 seconds talking about this. I have a new course coming soon. It is going to be a face-to-face personal trainer to online coach course. I'm so excited. If you want more information, DM me course on Instagram. It's probably going to be launching, July? probably around September, I will probably be launching the course. I'm so excited for it. So yes, it's for personal trainers or online coaches who are wanting to take their business completely online. So DM me for that. I do offer one-on-one business coaching and PT mentoring as well. I absolutely love it. So basically what you get out of it is you get complete 24/7 messenger coaching all through WhatsApp, where we can message each other every single day, and you get fortnightly Zoom calls for an hour as well, once a fortnight. So it is a high ticket service, but it is a very high return. Of course, you can claim it all back in tax. Absolutely love it. So if you do want to work one-on-one with me, send me a DM or message me, whatever. You know, I'm easily contactable. Otherwise, we do have this course coming up, which is another great way to work with me. So I'm very excited for this. But that is, let me stop sharing my screen. That is pretty much all. I can never figure out how I need to get out of this when it comes to it. Hey. Stop sharing. Okay, I think we are good with that. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Alrighty. Anyway, thank you. It always confuses me when I have to stop sharing my screen. But that is all for today's masterclass. Thank you all so much for being here on the live. Do you guys have any questions at all that you want to jump on the group chat? I'll give you all a minute to ask any questions. If you have any questions regarding strategy, please drop them below. But yeah, once again, thank you all so much for being here. I love doing these masterclasses for you. And once again, don't forget, you'll be able to view this masterclass. Do you worry about what time to post on your feed? Ultimately, no. I think generally if you're posting around the 2 to 3 times per day, I will naturally try and follow, like do one in the morning, one midday, and then one afternoon. If there is a favorite time to post, absolutely, it's going to be 5 p.m. That 5 to 6 p.m. time in the evenings. Absolutely. That is always going to be the best engagement. You can have a look at your analytics to see what performs best for you. But I find us, particularly in Australia, 5 to 6 p.m. is really good. However, on TikTok, I definitely do not worry about that, because I find that we will attract a lot more people in like the US, for example, who aren't in Australia time. So you have a lot more chance of being seen in other sides of the world if you're posting at all other times of the day as well. So yes, I don't really mind. I am definitely aware of it. If I have to favor a time, it's going to be 5 to 6 p.m. Otherwise, 2 to 3 times a work day, I just try and do morning, midday, and evening. Have a look at your analytics. However, I wouldn't want you to ever not post on your Instagram because it's a certain time, because there are always going to be people online, and there is always going to be people that see it, if that makes sense. Do you do paid ads, or do you think they are a waste of time and money? I have in the past. I definitely don't think that they're a waste of time and money. However, what I would recommend is just making sure that you have like proof of concept first in terms of what it is that you are doing. So, you know, you wouldn't necessarily, I mean, you can do, of course, whatever kind of like marketing strategy you want. However, what I have found is that you never really want to run paid ads unless you know you have proof of concept and what it is that like you are kind of doing on your actual social media that is working as well. So I think they can absolutely be an advantage, and I've experimented with them a little bit in the past. Not to the level that I would want to be doing them. Like, it's more so only just like boosted posts. They are definitely something I'm going to be doing a lot more in the future. But for me at this point, no, pretty much everything I've ever done has been completely organic just from my Instagram. So I definitely don't think they're a waste of time or money, but I think as long as you're, but see, the way I kind of view ads is more so as you're more like well established and you have the extra income to be able to put into it. Once again, putting money into ads will be able to you'll be able to claim that all back on tax, but you also want to be looking at like the cost per lead. So you can have an experiment with them. For me, it's something I'm going to be like outsourcing down the track, probably more so towards the end of the year or next year. But for me, having a waitlist at this point for actual one-on-one coaching, it's not really worth doing for that per se. So at this point, no, I don't think they're a waste of time and money. But, you know, if you can do it free or not organically, and just make sure that, you know, you've got proof of concept in terms of what it is that you're working. I don't think that you necessarily need to. Once again, I just think the more ads that you can get, the better. So I think if you know how to run ads and you know how to do them well as well, because that's the thing, it's like there's so many things with Facebook nowadays, especially when it comes to fitness, is that you can't advertise before and after photos, and like there's a lot of like, you can't share like half nude photos, for example, like if you're in a bikini or whatever, or if it's a bodybuilding competition. Like there are a lot of rules when it comes to Facebook, so you need to also know how to like run them and the right market. I've found success from experimenting some slight ads, but like over in the like US, UK, not in Australia. I feel like, I don't want to say everyone in Australia knows me, not at all, but I definitely find I target a lot of like the same people who just follow me already if I am ever doing targeted ads. So I would say if you are running any, try even just doing them for overseas, just so it's a complete other market. I also started, but yes, that would be my kind of take on ads anyway. Just if you can learn how to do them, because it is a whole nother skill set within itself. Like I would say it's not just as simple as like doing like the boosted post. I noticed my partner used to do like digital marketing where he'd be running like a lot of the behind the scenes, and it's changed so much over the years. So I'd say it's really quite complex to actually do Facebook marketing that and putting money into ads that converts, so the cost per lead isn't too high, and that like, yeah, you actually get conversions with it. So yeah, that's my take on ads. Let me know if you have any other questions with that anyway. So yes, down the track, because I you know, of course we'll be having a lot more money to be pouring into that side of the business, but for me at this point it's never really been a priority, especially when you can grow it organically for free. And then I also started working in a gym, paying rent. Do you think that was the wrong choice, as I don't have clients to bring into the gym? I think it's a great choice that you're doing that. I just think that's one of the best things that you can do. So 100%. And I started off in the gym myself as a face-to-face personal trainer. I did that for 4.5 years. So I think it's a really great thing, especially, you know, even if you don't have any clients at the moment, even if it's from online, because you can leverage your current face-to-face clients that you will get or currently have into online. So use your social media and to promote that you're even face-to-face. So get those, all the membership, like member details, reach out to everyone, get those free consults happening for everyone, like text them all and offer free consults, let them know that you're a PT there. And then even on your Instagram, promote that you're online, if that's your goal, to go online. And you can also write that you're face-to-face if you want more face-to-face clients. However, I would be, you know, filming your clients, provided you have their permission whilst they're training, showing it on Instagram. You can even run a challenge in the gym, and then get those before and after photos, get those testimonials, and then put it on your online. I think working in the gym was one of the best things you can possibly ever do. And anyone who works face-to-face, you're just going to gain that experience that online will never teach you. So I honestly think best thing you can ever do, even if you only do it for a short amount of time, because there are so many things that I learned that it would have taken me years to learn online. So I'm very thankful for my face-to-face time. I just think it's given me such invaluable experience that I honestly don't know how any online coaches could have success if they like did not gain that initial in the starting phase, if that makes sense. So I think so awesome that you're doing that. Keep doing what you're doing, and then just, yeah, I would just try and reach out to as many people as you can, grab all the numbers, reach out to everyone who is at the gym, and then leverage the clients that you are working with in the gym to your online, your social media, your Instagram, and then get those transformations, get those testimonials, put them on your Instagram, reshare them in so many different ways. Even what you could do is, if you get like a before and after, let's just say you run an 8-week challenge, in ways that you can repurpose that is not only doing it as like an Instagram feed post and putting it on your Instagram story, but even you can do this green screen option, make it an Instagram reel and a TikTok video where you're doing a green screen of yourself and the before and after, and you go on and you talk about how you got those results from point A to B, or how your client went from point A to B doing no cardio and heavy lifting and no cardio, that kind of thing. So there's so many different ways that you can even repurpose just like one before and after photo that will help continue building up your online, if that makes sense. But does anyone else have any questions at all? Otherwise, we'll finish up here. But thank you again for you all being here. As always, I have always have so much fun. You are so welcome. Thank you for asking those questions. And once again, giveaway will be on. I will announce the winner in probably the next 4 days or so. I'll give everyone a chance to be able to catch the replay as well. Let me know if you are watching the replay once again, and this will be, for those who are watching live, you will have lifetime access to this on the Facebook group. I'll start uploading this once we finish here. But you are so welcome. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you guys all next time. Once again, if you're interested in PC mentoring, business coaching, send me a DM. But thank you all so much for being here. Have a great day, guys. Thank you. Bye.